So get this. My parents want me to leave my apartment but still pay rent so my golden child brother can live there for free. I'm a 22-year-old girl who's been staying in my parents' spare condo in Massachusetts while attending college. They bought this place years ago as an investment, and after dealing with some troublesome tenants, they decided to let me live there when I got into MIT. Sweet deal, right? Only $1,250 a month for a one-bedroom in a college town, utilities included. It's not luxurious, but it's been my cozy little spot away from home. I come from an Amish family, and my upbringing was super strict, especially for girls. My parents always hammered in the idea that a woman's place is to serve and support the men in her life. I've always struggled with this because I want to forge my own path, but I feel the constant pull of family duty. Ironically, despite limited access to technology growing up, I'm now studying computational and systems biology. A bit about my family. I've got an older brother, Noah, who's 27. He's been the golden child, forever smart, charismatic, and basically perfect in my parents' eyes, especially Dad's. Growing up, he got everything: the best clothes, toys, and all the praise. If we fought, it was always my fault, and I was told to be more accommodating. One time as teens, I saved up my allowance for months to buy a beautiful dress, but Noah wanted to go to a concert that same weekend. Dad made me give him the money, promising to pay it back, which he never did. I cried for days, but what could I do? The strict Amish rules never seemed to apply to Noah, and I hated it. That was probably when I started wanting more for myself. Noah's been living it up in Boston for the last few years, working at some fancy tech startup. Despite being so close in distance, we weren't close emotionally, which was fine by me. But here's the twist. His company went belly up months ago, and he didn't tell anyone. Now he's jobless and homeless. Cue the theatrics. My mom called me last week, all frantic and sniffly, saying poor Noah needs family support. I thought she'd ask me to let him crash on my couch for a bit. Nope, she wanted me to move out and still pay the $1,250 rent so Noah could live there for free. Seriously? I was floored. I blurted out, "But Mom, I'm still in school. I can't afford to get my own place right now." She kept guilting me, saying I needed to do my part for the family and how Noah's going through a tough time. It felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. I tried reasoning, saying Noah is a grown man who can sort out his own mess, but Mom just started crying about how I'm abandoning the family. Dad wasn't much help either. He just kept saying Mom had a point and that we all have to make sacrifices for family. Then he launched into a spiel about how, as a woman, it's my duty to put my brother's needs before my own. I just wanted to scream, "What about my sacrifices?" I've been busting my butt in school and working part-time to pay my own way. I've been on a full scholarship for 2 years, not asking them for a dime. Sure, there are times I've caved to their demands just to keep the peace. Like when I skipped my best friend's birthday to go to a family reunion, I didn't even want to attend. But this time, I snapped. Maybe it was the stress of classes and upcoming finals, or maybe I was just done being expected to put myself last. I finally put my foot down and said, "No way, I'm not moving out and subsidizing Noah's freeloading." You'd think I announced I was joining the circus from their reactions. Mom hung up on me after calling me a selfish, ungrateful daughter, and Dad sent a long text about how I'm turning my back on my family and faith. I've been stewing over this for days, feeling like the world's worst daughter and sister. I want to help Noah, but am I crazy for thinking it's unfair to be financially ruined just to bail him out? So, here's the deal. I want to keep living here for cheap because, come on, my parents are supposed to make my life easier, right? I get it. Noah's not a bad dude, but he's had everything handed to him on a silver platter. Seriously, I don't think he gets how hard I've had to work for everything because he's never had to. He's always been one of those lucky ones. Good-looking, aces exams without even trying, and his first app after graduation was a massive hit, leading to a successful startup. My parents have always had his back, making excuses and smoothing things over for him. They can't seem to see how unfair this is. I'll admit, fate's given its own kind of justice, and yeah, I felt a bit happy when his startup went under. Now, if they want to let Noah live in my apartment rent-free, that's up to them since they own the place. But I'm not going to keep paying rent for a roof I'm not even sleeping under. I've started hunting for cheap rooms near campus, but it's slim pickings with the semester starting soon. I'm trying to stay firm in my decisions, but the guilt is eating me alive. My whole life, I've felt like my needs come second to the men in my family, and shaking off that feeling is tough. So, Reddit, am I a jerk for refusing to move out and keep paying rent so my brother can live there for free? Is it okay to put my own needs first for once? Or am I really being the selfish, disobedient daughter my parents claim I am? Honestly, I'm questioning everything right now. Part of me wants to just give in to keep the peace and not be the difficult one. But a bigger part of me is screaming that this is my chance to finally stand up for myself and stop being a doormat. I'm just so tired of always feeling like I'm not enough. Like my dreams and aspirations will always come second to the men in my life. Is it so wrong to want to put myself first for once and feel like my needs and feelings matter? So, am I the jerk for standing up for myself this time? Update 1. Wow, you all really lit up my post. First off, thanks to everyone who read and commented, even if you didn't agree with me. It feels great to be heard and validated. I wanted to clear up some confusion. Yes, I'm Amish, but I'm not living in an Amish community right now. I left at 18 for college, and getting the right certifications after attending Amish schools my whole life was intense. That's a whole other story. Just because I'm not living a traditional Amish lifestyle doesn't mean those values and expectations don't still weigh on me. To the person who asked if I'm really Amish because I'm using technology and going to college, yes, I am Amish, but like any culture, there's a spectrum of adherence to tradition. My family is more conservative, but that doesn't mean I'm not Amish just because I've chosen a different path. To those saying I should just suck it up and do what my parents ask, because that's what daughters are for, or I should be grateful they're letting me live there at all, kindly take several seats. I'm 24, paying my own way through school. Just because my parents own the apartment doesn't give them the right to uproot my life on a whim. And to whoever suggested I should be thrilled to give up my space for my brother, because it's a woman's honor to serve the men in her life. Newsflash, this isn't the 1800s. Women aren't here to cater to men's every whim. My dreams and goals are just as valid as my brother's. It's funny how no one questions why Noah, a 27-year-old grown man, can't sort out his own living situation. If the roles were reversed and I needed a place to crash, you can bet my parents would tell me to figure it out. For those asking why I maintain a relationship with my family if they're so controlling, it's not that simple. They're still my parents, and I love them, even if I don't always agree with them. Cutting off family is a huge decision, not one I take lightly. I'm hoping by setting boundaries and standing up for myself, we can find a healthier dynamic. To those saying I should just get over it and it's not a big deal, easy for you to say when you're not living it. Imagine being told your whole life that your wants and needs come second to everyone else's, especially men's. Imagine finally building a life for yourself, only to have your family try to uproot it for your already privileged brother. It's not about the apartment, it's about the principle. To the person who called me a spoiled brat for not accommodating my brother, kindly take a stadium's worth of seats. It's not spoiled to expect basic respect and consideration from your family. It's not bratty to have dreams and ambitions. I'm not asking for special treatment, just equal treatment. Moving out would be great if I could, but the rental market in Massachusetts is brutal. Even with my scholarship and part-time job, I'm barely scraping by. Asking my parents for money is the last thing I want to do. So no, I don't think I'm the jerk for refusing to bankrupt myself emotionally and financially for my brother's sake. It's time for Noah to grow up and figure things out, and for my parents to stop enabling his entitlement at my expense. Thanks again to everyone who's offered support and perspective. It means the world to me. I'll keep you all updated. Wish me luck. Update 2. Hey everyone, back with another update. First off, a huge shout out to all of you who reached out with messages of support and shared your own stories of family drama. Honestly, it's both heartwarming and a bit heartbreaking to know I'm not alone in this mess. To all the other daughters out there feeling like your dreams and needs come second to the men in your life, I see you, I hear you, and I stand with you. Your feelings are legit, and you totally deserve your own space in the world. So, here's what's going down. Despite my endless protests, my parents told Noah he could move into the apartment. He showed up last weekend with his stuff and has been crashing in the bedroom while I'm stuck on the couch. Yep, the couch, even though I'm the one paying rent. I know I'm not supposed to pay, but Noah's already here, and I'm just too tired of my parents constantly calling to express their disappointment in me. One thing I didn't back down on: I'm not moving out. I'm staying here and keeping up with the rent. But man, this is beyond stressful. I'm trying to study for finals, but it's impossible to concentrate with Noah lounging around, leaving his junk everywhere. He acts like he's on vacation while I'm drowning in work. The worst part? He has zero urgency about finding a job or his own place. He's always like, I'm figuring things out, and expects me to be more understanding. Meanwhile, he's eating my groceries, using my toiletries, and even my face towel for his body. Gross. And my parents? They keep calling to check on Noah, but never once ask how I'm doing or if I need help. It's like I'm invisible to them. The other day, I came home from a brutal day of classes to find Noah hosting a brainstorming session with his tech bro friends. The place was a wreck empty pizza boxes, beer cans everywhere, and the three of them yelling about their next big app idea. They barely acknowledged me. I tried to retreat to my room, the couch, to start my homework, but their loud chatter was unbearable. After 2 hours, I begged them to keep it down, and they looked at me like I had two heads. Noah even had the nerve to say, "Chill out, sis. We're working on the next big thing. You'll thank me when we're millionaires." I wanted to scream. I ended up going to the campus library to work, and by the time I got back, they were gone. But the mess wasn't. I spent an hour cleaning up, fuming the whole time. Noah has no respect for me or my boundaries. Something's got to give soon before I completely lose my mind. I'm trying to stay positive and focus on my studies, but it's getting harder every day. I'm exhausted from sleeping on the lumpy couch and stressed about rent. I've been skipping meals to save money, and my grades are slipping. I feel like I'm drowning, and no one even notices. It's like my whole life has been upended, and I'm just expected to grin and bear it. Sometimes I want to scream, cry, or just run away and never look back. But I know I've got to stay strong. I didn't come this far to give up now. Once I'm done with uni, I'm moving far, far away. I keep telling myself this is temporary, but some days it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. To everyone who's reached out with words of encouragement or shared their own stories of family drama, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support means more than you know. Please keep me in your thoughts as I navigate this mess. I'll be back with another update soon. Until then, I'm just taking it one day at a time and trying to remember my own worth. We've got this. Final update. So, it's been 2 months since my last update. Finals had me totally occupied, but I think I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things hit a breaking point. I was at my wit's end with Noah's freeloading and my parents constantly coddling him. I was seriously considering begging one of my friends to take me in. Then, a miracle happened. Noah and I got into a massive argument one night about his dirty dishes all over the place. I was just so fed up with his entitlement and lack of respect. I started crying, telling him how much his presence was affecting my mental health and ability to focus on school. For the first time, he actually listened. Like, really listened. He said he had no idea how much stress he was causing me, and admitted that he'd been so wrapped up in his own problems, he hadn't considered how his actions were impacting others. He apologized for taking advantage of my space and our parents' generosity. We ended up having a really long, honest talk about our childhood and how our parents' favoritism had affected us in different ways. Noah admitted he'd always felt pressured to be perfect, and that his fear of failure had made him avoid dealing with stuff. Sure, I can help with that. Here's your text with a more casual tone and a bit more detail. Once Noah and I finally tackled his problems head on, it felt like a huge weight was lifted off both our shoulders. We finally understood where the other was coming from. We hugged it out and decided to start fresh the next day. Noah even called up our parents to let them know he was moving out of the apartment and that they needed to respect my boundaries. He went so far as to offer to pay back the rent for the time he'd been staying there. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. I never thought I'd see the day when Noah stood up to our parents for me. Of course, they didn't handle it well right away. Mom laid on the guilt trips and tears, and Dad had his usual stoic look of disappointment. But Noah and I stuck together. We told them in no uncertain terms that their blatant favoritism and complete disregard for my needs had to end, or they'd risk losing us both. The next few weeks were pretty tense, but I think they finally got the message. They've started calling to check in on me, not just Noah, and Dad even apologized for not considering my feelings more. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Noah's now living with some friends and is on the hunt for a job. We've been talking more and trying to build a real sibling relationship that's not messed up by our parents' influence. It's slow going, but I'm hopeful. As for me, I'm laser focused on finishing this semester strong. I passed my finals with flying colors and landed a summer internship. For the first time in ages, I feel like I'm in control of my own life. I know my family still has a lot of work to do to truly see each other as equals, but I'm super proud of the progress we've made and how I've learned to stand up for myself. To everyone who's been following along on this journey and offering support, thank you so much. Your kind words and wisdom have been a lifeline. I hope my story can inspire others going through similar struggles. And to my fellow women, especially those from conservative backgrounds, your voice matters. Your needs matter. You matter. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This isn't the end of my journey, but it feels like a beautiful new beginning. Onwards and upwards, my friends. I'm rooting for us all.